Okay guys, y'all wanted to see how the ball winder works and how hubby winds everything up. So right now he's taking the strings out from around. This is hand-dyed yarn, and they're done in a they're done in a hank, and they're tied so that when they dye them they don't get tangled up in the pots. So he's taking the yarn off so that it can be put onto the winder. So now he's trying to decide which way he wants this to wind or unwind based on how the yarn's kind of coming off of the, because you got two ends loose now that he's taken the little strings out. And I got this Swift from Amazon, and I do not remember, but I can go back and try to link it later. And the yarn is from Expression Fiber Arts.
These are more difficult than a regular skein.
So he ties a knot in the end.
Because the bad thing about it is, if you pull it too tight while you're winding, it won't work right. So you want to have a light friction, but not a lot of friction. And this thing pulls pretty hard as you're winding, so sometimes you get too much pull. Let's see how it goes.
And this is the Loops and Threads ball winder from Michaels, and this is our second one. He's taken it apart. The first one we took apart and used it.
The first one I took apart and looped it so it worked better.
And then he's retired it to parts for this one. And he holds it right there to get the tension he wants, even though it's coming off of the Swift.
This is really small stuff.
You can see the fibers coming off of there. They always do. Oh. Got a little hung up a little there.
See how it's messing up on here? It's not there, this is the trouble.
Yeah, the trouble is the ball winder.
With this too much tension, the way you want this to wind is you want it to wind pretty even this way, upwards and out. So that as it gets taller, it'll flatten out.
Right.
If you pull too hard, it's beveled.
Yeah.
Then it starts jumping.
Okay.
So that's why you see me taking it back loose and redoing a whole bunch of it. Trying to get it to go back into
yeah, sometimes he'll have a whole pile of the yarn on the floor where he's had to.
Because this is pulling way too hard.
Oh, starting to get wound around a little bit down there.
Yeah, that don't help. That's a first.
You got stuck inside there. Oh my gosh.
Now.
Don't let that happen. I'm going to run it backwards so that it's not hanging down as far. Okay, we'll try that again.
And yes, backing up and restarting is pretty consistent with doing it, especially when it's this thin.
Yeah, the fingering weight yarn especially.
To test everyone's patience. See how it's looking.
So with the fingering weight yarn, it's constantly
Well,
pulling it back and
that's the problem. I'm gonna have to back up and redo it much quicker because it's too tight.
okay.
So, but see how
Hold on. There it goes. Okay.
see how this thing's as it's pulling off, you can see it pulling back.
Yes.
Okay. See how you can see it pulling back because I've got
Right.
too much tension in there.
Ah.
So we're gonna back up most of the way and redo it so that it's winding properly.
So does it kind of start when it's like right in where it's doing this here? It's kind of where it started.
Kind of start what?
Where these single pieces up towards the front are hanging off from the end of it.
Well, that's part of it. But see how it's shrinking it as you're pulling back. See how it's pulling.
Let's focus. There we go. Oh yeah, how it almost relaxes.
Yeah, see the
Yeah.
green one right there. Even though I'm halfway around, it's already
relaxing.
That's
so
why
it's too tight.
It's too tight. Right. So we're going to go back to the beginning and do it with a softer pull so that it winds properly.
Okay.
Because there's no way to get that thing to turn with tension on it. You got to have tension on this thing, otherwise it'll fall off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Over here, you got to have tension on this portion of it. Otherwise, this will just fall on the ground.
Right, it'll just flop down.
But with this small finger weight, or whatever you call it,
yes,
this thin stuff, it's too much tension. So we do this.
So then we go to a pile on the floor. How this does not get knotted, he's just that good. Just saying. Me, I'd have a mess.
You are a mess, Lisa.
I am a mess. Yes, I is.
See, we're getting there now. Won't take long. But we're about halfway done.
Halfway with the hank?
Yeah. So if we get this portion, if we get the first half done right, we may be able to pull the rest of it without any trouble.
Okay.
But see there, it's really pulling back.
You know, and each yarn does have a particular twist to it, just saying.
Sure.
That has a bearing on how much tension.
See how it's pulling over here?
Yeah. But it's not nearly like it was earlier.
It's actually worse.
Let me see that again.
See that I'm halfway around. It'll be this one right there. See, it's already already.
Oh,
pulling.
yeah.
It'll be this one.
Huh.
See how it puffs up?
Yep.
That's the trouble. Almost there.
And we just use whatever as far as a tying yarn. This is just peaches and cream right now.
Leftover stuff.
Sometimes I just pull a red heart or, you know, whatever.
See, now this way, I've got it pretty loose. See, as far as
Right.
I'm hardly pulling, hardly at all. And it's going to wind a lot better. See how it's getting edges? Instead of it being pulled down,
Oh, yes.
rounded,
Yes.
it's got more of an edge to it.
You can see how that's rolling up in a better shape.
Yeah, see, before we were scrunched down on each end where
Yep,
it was
it's a much
going
better
back
shape.
and forth. Now it's puffed
Yes.
with definite edges. Okay, now we're back to about where we were before. Now, as this thing pulls, it'll flatten this out and expand it as it goes.
And I'm watching that
Yeah,
as it's going spinning. I can see that.
yeah. Now I won't be near as fast now because it'll start pulling.
Yeah, because you were taking up the slack too. That
See
you
how
had
it's
on the
pulling
floor.
down? See the difference?
Oh, wow.
That's how much, just in the pull of that thing, how
Yeah.
much difference it makes. See the goofiness in it?
Yeah.
Okay, but we should be fine. We got enough on there now.
So it's got something
It's
as
pushing
a foundation
it's
there.
pushing it out to each side. How many yards is this?
$400, I think. No, $437.
So 4 football fields.
Yeah, 4 football fields. The 7525. It's called Page Turner.
That's how I gauge it. 100 yards is 1 football field.
Yeah.
So 400 yards, 4 football fields. See how it's winding up.
It is. And you can, I mean, the angle I'm at here too.
But it's still got the rounded edges, you know, because it's winding tighter.
So it's 100 grams, I think. I believe it's 100 grams. Doesn't say here. But her hanks are just a little bit longer than most of the standard ones. See, that's all that's left on the Swift. A few turns left on there. And he's not really pinching that. All he's doing really is just guiding it into.
Okay. I don't think it goes long
Now he's going to cut a piece of thread to put through the middle to keep it from unwinding, coming loose. Keep it in the cake. He just puts it on the end of his finger and pokes it through as a loop. And then you can tighten it, and it grabs that end. And then we can slide the card in there and not have to stick it in the middle because I was losing them before. With the rest.
Now on a skein, just a regular skein, you can do one of those like
This is the stuff I just got. We'll talk about that later.
We might be able to use 3 of these on one.
Yeah, I think these are 50 gram.
Made in Gisborne, England by Hayfield Textiles.
Yes.
Well,
it's British.
Your
I
lady
know.
across the pond will be happy.
Yes, Jan Carruthers, look what I got.
British wool.
This is British wool.
But the fiber came from China.
Yeah, well.
Okay. So
yeah, these are 50 gram.
Okay, so
yeah, he's got the yarn bark out of the middle.
Pull the deal out of the middle, blah, blah, blah.
Lay it on the floor.
You tell us it's wool, too.
Yes. This is, I'll read it to you up here. 100% British wool. No, it's 81% pure British wool. 52% of that is Shetland, 14% is alpaca, 5% is mulberry silk.
That's weird. Okay, so this is about the same weight as the stuff you had.
Yes, very similar. They probably classified this one actually as a 2 because of the way that it blooms, but it's a 1. It's a fingering. So he still studies it with his hand, but it comes right out of the skein instead of off the swift.
See how I get the edges?
Yes.
The wool is actually easier because it holds.
Sticks to itself a little bit. Grabs. There's a little grab to it. Now it's starting to collapse because it's towards the end. So it just slows it down a little bit.
There's always a point where you just have to mess with it. So far, we're doing good. Oh. So I usually just take it and wing it out by hand.
Yeah.
Go back to where I can get it on the right side of the chair. I bet I'll be able to get 3 on there. We got a pretty good gap on below, so I bet I'll be able to get 3 of those on one cake. So that'll be.
Yeah, he's talking about this here, the room that he has right here, in order to get the cake, how big the cake will be.
It doesn't say how many yards it is.
No, it's in meters, I think.
Luxury.
Yeah, it's 124 yards.
124 yards. So that'll be right at 400 yards if I got 3 of them on there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I have 9, so that'll work out good. That'd be 3 cakes.
You broke it. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, you know. I break everything.
You can do it. This is the part that scares you. All of this kind of
The
windy
naughty
stuff.
stuff. It's the naughty stuff.
Yeah, I'm in fear of the naughty stuff. Well, you do knots all the time, though.
I know. I make the knots. My way.
You want to control the naughtiness. I see.
I do. Naughty controller.
And I just tie them together. So you can worry about the ends later.
Which I normally just cut those two ends off because it's usually tight enough, and especially the wool. Actually, that wool can be spit spliced. Yeah, we'll get into that later.
I'm not a spit splicer, sorry. I do what I do. But see how it's starting to expand out and it's pushing it down and widening.
Yeah. Trying to see if I can show. This is what I got at the library. So see, that's nearly one of the. That's nearly two. So we'll probably have enough room for the third one.
Oh yeah. You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. No.
It's always a challenge.
Well, I figured I could get 4 on there, but that would leave an odd number. Oh, look, we got a string that messed up. Wow, look at you.
Just cut it.
No, hold on.
What's my answer? Just cut it.
Yeah, but see, it's going to be missing now. The part of
How
this.
far down? How much is left?
Here. No, I mean to get it back to wind it properly.
Oh.
You see, it's cut here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do
Surgery.
there, right there.
Find where it's split at.
Yeah.
How much was it?
That much. Not enough to worry about. But some had just cut the 2 colored strings, or they didn't get tied.
Could be.
I bet it was where they had a splice in it and they weren't tied, and then as I was pulling on it, it pulled it back.
One of those things that happen
Those
in
dang
manufacturing.
Englishmen didn't tie it.
Oh. It wasn't very much.
No. But still, I'd rather do that now.
I wonder if they change machines.
Whatever, you never know. But I'd rather do that now as I'm winding it rather than have you have to mess with it.
Oh yeah, because it'll do that even long before that. You know, when I was doing stuff with it.
Okay, one more.
Yes, I don't like barf in any form.
This is gonna feel. Can you do wash rags with this stuff? No,
I could, but it would felt.
Really bad.
Which is not a bad thing. A felted washcloth would be great.
It feels really good, like it would be pretty absorbent. Yeah, absorbent.
It does.
Stuff, you know?
Well, you'd be surprised because wool can be both.
But would it shrink up so much that it would? What was it? Wool, alpaca, silk?
Yeah, the silk will help keep it from shrinking so much, but it's still going to avoid the water. Wool avoids water.
Oh, so it was.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Duh. Yeah,
That's why the fishermen's
yeah, I know. I hear you.
sweaters
Yeah,
were
I got you. I got you.
wool.
Well, it feels really good. I like the way it feels. Okay, here's the deal. I could do another one on here,
Hmm.
but it would leave you one goofy size cake. Or I could do three the same size.
I like 3.
I like being consistent.
Consistent. And I'll know that 3 of those is, with it being 125 yards, be 375.
75, yeah.
Then I can decide whether I want to do a project with all 3 or if I want to do a project with 1.
Right.
Right at the end again. Oh, it's a knot.
Yeah, it's just a minor deal. So there's one of those. That's why they're faster, because they come undone easier.
Yes, the skeins are much faster. And you can see where these 3, now sure, you could take your skein of yarn and squish it into a spot in your stash somewhere, but for me, 3 of these, like this, is easier to store.
Well, you got those shoe cases that these
Hmm.
fit in there perfect. So why wouldn't you? Just want to use one of those.
We usually put all 3, but
These are pretty thin, though, so it doesn't matter. You'll remember.
yeah, I know what I got. All right.
That's how that works.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So just a few more to go, and I'll be done.
Yes, I think that one has silk.
Yeah, 50% mulberry. So
This is the other skein from Expression Fiber Arts. He's always teasing me about this. Oh, she just throws it in front of the camera. See? See what I got?
Oh my god. Okay, now every one of these hand dyers does their own thing. I mean, they all tie it kind of the same way, but as far as how they do each particular string, you never know how they're going to tie it.
Right,
So
right.
you just undo it.
We call that making it naked.
Yeah, whatever. Now this one with the card, I just cut the end off where the card is.
Okay.
Because it was too hard. And I think these are the actual ends of the. Nope. Okay, so they're somewhere else. So you load it. You don't want it real tight. You just want it kind of so it holds it up there without it falling off.
Right.
And after that, it's just like what we had on before, where you undo it. But I wanted just to show you how you load it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I know I don't know where to look because I'm right in front of this thing, and I look rough because I'm in my jammies. So I just wanted to get this video out to you guys, and for those of you that were asking how we do that. Okay.